Welcome to Ultimate Streetcar, where real people combine their dreams, passion, and imagination into real-world streetcars, competing on some of the world's most iconic tracks, 5 segments, 2 days, 1 driver. This is Ultimate Streetcar. I am your host, Rob Gibby, here with the Ultimate Streetcar Association co-founder, Hollywood Jimmy Day. Jimmy, welcome.
Hi there. Great day to be doing podcasts.
How much time do we have? 4 minutes?
Well, maybe 4 minutes, yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Are you in for a treat?
Yeah, this is going to be fast.
We have already recorded the interview that you're about to see. And the interview, like this show, is presented by our friends at Forgeline. Go to forgeline.com. By the way, if you're running a new Cadillac CT5V, put Forgelines on it.
Oh, my gosh.
It's quite appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Quite appealing. I don't know who owns the car on their Facebook page right now. I wish it was me. Wouldn't that be awesome? They look good. We're going to have Rob Byrd on here. Jimmy, Rob is a person a lot of competitors know, but why did we invite Rob on here for new audience members?
Well, because we want people to get to know Rob. He is the newest, member of the Ultimate Streetcar team. And he's doing all of the Autocross and Speed Stop events, as well as all of our other events that we do at FM3. And we want to give Rob a chance to share his personality with the rest of the group and give people an opportunity to kind of understand who Rob is and how he does things and why.
Very insightful interview. And there's a lot of truth to that. You're never going to come to an Ultimate Streetcar event and run the same Autocross twice, even if it's at the exact same venue.
Correct.
Rob's very passionate about this, and he takes a lot of pride and consideration into making sure that no matter what class of car you bring or truck, you've got a shot at glory.
Yep. and that's hard. Autocross is like an art form, right? Building courses is I consider it to be an art form. And you could put 2 or 3 autocross designers in the same lot, and I guarantee you that none of their courses would be the same. They all have their own flair, their own signature style, and their own vision of what they do. So they truly are artists at what they do. And that's why if you go to the same lot, but you have different course designers, the courses will likely be very different.
Mm-hmm. You ran one of Rob's events a long time ago.
I did.
And so you had a chance to kind of experience his art form, and you must have liked it because you became fast friends.
Well, part of Rob's art form is not just in course design, but it's the level of passion and energy that he brings to an event. If you have the greatest person in the world designing your courses, but they're just not, they just don't have a level of energy to them. It's like, okay, I ran a good course, but it's the bonus, though, the bonus of that energy and that passion that you get, that spark, that laugh, that hug, that stuff that comes with that. It's all the bonus materials that really add up and make that something special. And I saw that years ago when I went out to an NMCA autocross that Rob was doing in Fontana, the first time I met him. And then we had the opportunity to meet several times after that. And then Rob actually worked for us as our Autocross 2 group when we were running multiple autocrosses and we needed another team to help us run an autocross. So we became fast friends, and we've known each other for a long time and have a very mutual level of respect for how we run events and the passion we have for the industry and the people.
Fun dude. You'll enjoy the interview very much. He is not a native of SoCal, but you wouldn't guess it listening.
Nor looking at his haircut. He has more hair than you and me together, I think.
That's vicious. The truth will get you.
But it's
nowhere.
True.
Yeah.
Mine's darker than his, though, just for the record.
I have more hair than it looks, but my head is so shiny. It just it's like my head is a flashlight beaming outward. Just when I'm 70, my skin's going to be amazing, though. So, no. Anyway, we will be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to preview for you the schedule for Willow Springs. That's the third event of the year. That event is May 29th through 31, solo event. We're the only people there. It will be our traditional schedule. We will run that all down here for you on the show in a couple of weeks. Anything else before we go, Jimmy?
No, I get right to the interview because Rob's a really interesting guy.
Okay. Everyone, thank you so much. Make sure that you are following all the proper social medias. Everything is at the Ultimate Streetcar website now, which, Jimmy, is what's the address?
DriveUSCA.com.
Okay. See you in a couple of weeks, gang. Enjoy the interview. Bye-bye. Up next, a fun interview segment. We don't get interviews in every show, but when we do, they're well worth it. And this one's an insider baseball one. Rob Byrd of the Racing Birds, somewhere on beautiful location. Rob is the Autocross segment manager here. And Rob's not a sponsor. He's not a competitor. He works here. And he's the guy that puts together these amazing autocrosses for you at every Ultimate Streetcar event, and actually every FM3 event. But we're going to talk about what he does today for Ultimate Streetcar specifically. A lot of you know Rob and have known him for a very long time. But this is a fun internal setting. Rob, can you hear us wherever you are?
Sir, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Well, welcome, Rob. It's been a while, but it's good to talk to you again. So while we're preparing for this, we're doing this interview a little differently than most. Typically, we ask you who you are and where you're from. I just said, Jimmy, why did you hire Rob? So, Jimmy, why did you hire Rob?
Well, we hired Rob because Rob's commitment and passion really match what we have here at FM3. His commitment to the industry, to the drivers, and to improving and just making great everything we do. It's how we've built our entire team, and Rob's attitude and his history, his experience level all match what we like to do. And so that's why he's a great addition to the team. And that's why I'm really glad that you pointed out that it's not just Ultimate Streetcar. It's literally everything that Ultimate Streetcar does, with the exception of one event, because he cannot be on both coasts at the same time.
Well, yet. Not with that attitude. Yeah.
Right?
Still haven't figured out how to clone myself yet.
Okay, Rob, with that said, you're certainly well-loved. Who are you and where are you from, Rob? Did you grow up in California? Where are you anyway? Are you in California?
I am in Southern California right now. With the weather being 65 degrees, you wouldn't know it, but it is a beautiful location. And I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit. That's where I spent my first 16 years. Been around the United States. I was in the military for a while, so I did get to live in some really cool places. Augusta, Georgia, Louisiana for a while, Arlington, Virginia. Great stuff. But settled here because as a kid, I would dream about palm trees in my backyard, and I now have those.
Yeah, and if you have the choice of suburbs of Detroit or Southern California, I know where I'm going. Right? That choice was not a hard one.
Yeah. Certainly not. Rob, what's your background with cars? I guess over a lifetime here. How about this? How'd you get into autocross specifically?
So, been involved with cars since I was a kid. My father was a car guy. He actually built cars. He worked, paint and body magic and all of that stuff. But in 2009, I heard my wife making a bunch of noise in the kitchen. I had to go find out what was going on. She's screaming that they're bringing back the Camaro. I said, how could you know this before me? And because she had a significant birthday coming up, she pre-ordered a car sight unseen. We had no idea what the color was. We got a 2010 Camaro in 2009. And back in the day, it was forums, right?
Yeah.
Camaro 5. Right. And we were heavily involved in that. And it just so happened that Elena Shear from Hot Rod Magazine reached out to us and said, hey, we need a stock Camaro for some testing we're doing at Willow Springs. Would you like to come to a private track day? So needless to say, we were up at 4:30 the next morning on our way to Willow Springs and got to experience a private track day that was awesome. And that Monday, following the track event, I was at Hotchkiss Sports Suspension getting everything that they had because that was the car they were testing us against. And some of the guys in the shop were talking about Good Guys Autocross. I said, Autocross? What is this? What are you speaking of? They're like, oh, you should come out. So we went to what turned out to be the last Good Guys at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Being the smart man that I am, I let my wife go first. Yeah. And there's a famous video with our guy, Chad Reynolds, announcing the fact that not only was it one of the few ladies racing, but Trish racing. And I got to do 2 laps. That's when they fit the peanut. Everybody remembers the peanut at Good Guys. Somehow I managed to be really fast. And it literally blew up from there. You know, we attended every event we could. You know, back in the day, it was mostly Super Chevys. And, you know, we tried some of the 4-letter clubs. And, you know, we seen a lot of different events. And I thought, man, I love what they do here. This is kind of weird. I wouldn't do that. And I got a Christmas bonus one year, and I decided to buy some timing equipment and some cones. And we had a friend that worked out at Santa Anita Raceway. And he hooked us up with a parking lot. And we invited 50 of our fellow Camaro owners. And it literally started from there. That was the beginning of racing Byrds as we know it.
So you fell in love with the venue of people doing this one fun thing, and probably like all of us, you are sucked into the performance part of it because that you know, that's the drug that gets you there, and then you end up falling in love with all the wacko people that show up and they become your family, and you can't help yourself. You don't not want to be there.
It's funny you mentioned the family thing. That was a comment I made this weekend about, you know, that crazy cousin or that one uncle that they always tell you to stay away from. But it is an incredible family that we get to be with every time we go to any of these events. So it has always been about the people for us, honestly. We love the racing. You know, obviously, aftermarket upgrades all day long. But the reason that we do this, that I get up in the morning and don't mind being the first person at the track. I'm actually excited about that. I like to be the first one there, the last one out, because I have family that I need to make sure has fun. And that's what really drives us in this whole thing.
I love that. Can you answer some technical questions?
Sure.
You do this. What makes a good autocross? Actually, let's do this. What makes a bad autocross?
Working when you're a participant that paid to go there. You know,
Thank you for that.
We've always had course workers because again, you're paying to come and race. You're not paying to come and work. And, you know, just the ability to be able to have a fun course is a big part of this whole thing. So,
okay.
So
Um,
so I'm assuming that knowing your audience goes a lot into course design, right? So, for example, would a why is a good guy's course or something like that not the same as say a Las Vegas Drive Auto Extreme course or an Ultimate Streetcar course?
So you do cater to your customer, right? At every event. And for building a course, the biggest determining factor is really always the venue. You know, some venues are larger than others, some are smaller. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a small course. It can be really fun if it's built properly. Again, you don't want to stub somebody off to a point where, oh, that corner was horrible. You know, you do really want to make sure that you have flow. And one of the things that I love doing is providing a course that's not a goat trail. There's options, which allows me to build a course that works good for a Miata or a Camaro and everything in between and beyond and above. And that's where, again, not having that there's only one way through here. And at that point, it's really who has a better car, not necessarily the better driver. So I love putting elements that give anybody an opportunity to have a different line through that corner based on their car, based on their platform. Because you shouldn't be penalized because you chose a different platform. Some of the coolest parts of this is seeing the unique vehicles. You know, I love Camaros. Obviously, I'm a huge Camaro fan. I do blame my uncle from when I was a kid for that. But it's not the only car out there. And to see somebody out there in a Porsche 944 or, you know, again, just some oddball car is really that's kind of a bonus. You know, it's awesome to see a variety of cars and not just, you know, Corvettes and Camaros. We want to get them all out there, and it doesn't matter. You know, again, you could bring your daily out to any of these events and really have fun because it's the safe place to be able to, I'm going to drop the hammer. I'm throwing it into this corner. We're going to find the limit today. That's what autocross is for. It's a fun, safe place to get out there and go fast in your car.
So you really piqued my interest here. So talking about the goat trails, and my kid's in a different kind of racing right now, and it is a goat trail. There's one way around. There's one best way around, and that's just how it is. But in your case, I think Jimmy had mentioned to me off the air that you had built a pro touring truck that when you have a few moments, you get to enjoy. We have trucks and Miatas competing on the same space in our series. We just do. And you mentioned that you account for that. How are you doing that though? Are you building it so like, all right, this car is probably going to win here, but this guy with the big vehicle, he's probably going to win here. Everybody gets a shot at glory somewhere, and you're making sure that that's how you do it. Is that the strategy?
There are certain elements that lend themselves to different vehicles. You know, certainly high horsepower is one thing.
Yeah.
Tight radiuses are another. But even just having a corner that has depth in the lane allows for you to choose a different line because it might be a late apex for you, but it could be an early turn in for a Miata. And trucks, yes, please. It's something I've been talking about for many years, and we were fortunate enough just this last year to actually realize a dream of building I'll say it's a purpose-built truck for autocross, but it's also a truck that's built that we drive down to the beach, and I'll take it to the store because, I haven't driven in a couple of days. All right, let's go. I'm going to get in the truck. So when you look at all those different vehicles, that's where having, again, just a lane that happens to be, 40 feet deep as opposed to, hey, it's 15 feet across and there's really one line to come in, one line to come out, or you're hitting cones.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rob,
Jimmy had, sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Well, I was going to say, Rob, we had an interesting discussion early in the year about different philosophies, and I want you to talk about this because you're the one that convinced me that to change my mind. We were talking about different philosophies of building an autocross course and whether it should be chalked or not chalked, right? And we came to the conclusion that some of them will be chalked and some of them won't be. So we straddled the fence, which is the most uncomfortable position you can be in, right? Tell us though, because I was a proponent of no chalk. I just said nope, nowhere, no how. That's a crutch. It's for sissies. And I quickly found out that it's really not, and that the decision that Rob made to say we're going to chalk the course was actually a pretty good one. But tell us about how that came about and what you think about that and why.
So the aesthetics of that is certainly one thing, right? Visually, it really does make the course cool, especially when you got that front shot out the camera and you see those white lines. But there's more to it than that. One of the things that we love is that we have, from the first timer, never done this before, to the most experienced guy out there. I mean, we've got 10-time national champions racing at these events. And again, those guys, they don't care about the chalk. It's okay. They don't mind. Doesn't affect anything. But the new guy, and again, even intermediate people, as you're building up, it's a great visual when you're in the car. And again, I think it photographs well, so it's cool.
Yeah. And so we decided that the Drive Auto Extreme events, which are our feeder series, and we have a lot of newer individuals there, a lot of rookies, a lot of people kind of working their way up towards festival events and Ultimate Streetcar. And I have to say I was wrong. The feedback I got from so many people was, man, the chalk really helps. It helps them go faster because they're not trying to visualize and memorize every corner right away. It really helps kind of keep them online. And honestly, we have had no off-course deals, which is nice. Nobody goes off the course lost when there's chalk on the course. So I was wrong. So yeah, I'm glad you could talk about that and help other people understand too why we do that.
I'll give you guys an example. I did a Volkswagen ride and drive right out of college, and it's exactly what you think. It was a big PR marketing thing. Cattle call for customers. Mm-hmm. Idiot customers get in, they make them autocross, like, aren't you in love with this car? Buy it right now. But I was like the 18th guy that this guy had in the last 5 minutes. He was worn out. He was tired. And we got halfway through the course, and I realized that the last 17 guys had blown through most of the rest of the cones on the way back. And my instructor was over it. He would not tell me how to get home. Like, where? I'm still trying to follow the course. Any pointers would help. And he said, follow the cones. And I said, where? If there had been lines, I could have at least followed that.
Get home for sure. Yeah.
And that's something that I experienced as well. Early on, again, this all came from driving at as many different styled events as I could. And over time, we started testing that, and I absolutely loved it. Everybody that was there, again, the fast guys, they didn't care because, again, some of them like that. But I've been to events where hey, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm pretty good about, all right, I've walked the course. I know where the course is. I got a good memory. I can, this cone, this cone, this cone. But I've also been along with people, trying to help support them, and they're driving and they're like, where's the next corner at?
It's not intuitive for a lot of drivers. Yeah.
How about this, Rob? Jimmy let me know that you and your wife Trish are a team, and it's not that we don't see a lot of families in this this sport that we do. We do, but it is nice when you see a husband and wife that work together as a team on something. Well, what is Trish's involvement here?
Trish is the one that keeps me straight, right? She keeps me on time. She's the keeper of timing, I do relieve her when I need to, but boy, they call her the fist of death at work. Don't tell anybody I said that, because she's tough. She's tough, and she don't take no crap. And when it comes to this, there are times where, sometimes you got to be tough. Now, with that said, the most important thing is that we always try to make sure we take care of every individual, because sometimes crap happens. Somebody feels one way, no matter what it is. And we tell everybody, this is something that, again, Jimmy has always been big about. Hey, if you have a concern about something, come to us. Please come to us. We will address it. Now, I might ask you hey, did you get video? Or, I might tell you, dude, I seen you kill that cone. It was that one right there. And they go, okay, all right, off they go. But again, we really want to make sure that we're giving everybody a fair shake. So if there's ever been a question, okay, that one was a rerun. It's really that simple to just be considerate, right? Considerate of people out there. As racers, I know how important it is, because when I race, I'm as competitive as anybody. I want to win. I want to beat my buddy. I might not be number one on the board, but hey, I'm going to get faster than this guy. And again, we're all very competitive just by nature. So as long as you always have your concerns addressed, then, people don't go away mad, because that's the worst thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody to go away unhappy. That's never good. This is supposed to be fun. We love the competition. Competition is the greatest thing ever. And that's why we go out of our way to make sure we've got great awards, and that it means something, and you get your picture, and it's all of those little things. And yes, I am blessed to have a wife that loves cars and racing and driving, and dude, I encourage everybody. I don't care if it's your girlfriend, your wife, your other half, whatever it is. If you get them involved in racing, I get to buy my wife I get to buy her car parts for Christmas. Is there a better thing for a car guy?
Right.
I don't
Makes
think
it easy.
So.
Makes it a lot easier. It does. Yeah. Well, and that's why. So Rob, I'm going to say that Trish is the chalk lines for you. She keeps you in line, kind of helps you know where to go, when to go there, and directs you. So that's how we're gonna refer to that. So, but yes, that's why this has been such a good fit, and why this has so much opportunity and growth for FM3, for Ultimate Streetcar, and for the Racing Byrds. We took two things that worked pretty good by themselves, and we're putting them together, and they will be even better together. By bringing Rob and Trish in, we've got a team that's willing to travel with us, go on the road for all of these events, bring a level of consistency and a level of fun and energy to our autocross events. It's helped us bring our brand of autocross and our brand of entertainment out to the Western region where we didn't have a place to do that. So that's why this has been such a great partnership to put together. And it's so cool to have Rob and Trish now as part of the USCA and FM3 teams. We're really looking forward to doing a lot of great things, which includes LS Fest. And we have LS Fest Texas coming up. And Rob and I are going to cut this interview just a little bit short because we have another call that we have to get on shortly about LS Fest Texas. Because for those of you that are watching, we're just a few days before we all have to leave to go down to Texas and get that venue ready for the all-out assault of all of the LS people coming to Texas.
Cool. Rob, good to chat with you again. Tell Trish thanks for the chocolate. I do like that example. I think that's very helpful. In fact, I'm going to steal that and then use it later when you guys aren't around.
That's awesome.
Rob, everyone that's listening and watching, we'll see you out on the course. It's good catching up, man. And I'll see you at the next one.
All right. I'm going to say 2 Robs don't make a wrong, so don't miss this episode. We are so excited about what's coming up this year. Every venue is a little bit different, so we're trying to really bring some cool elements to each and every one. They will all be different. That is the one thing I can guarantee to you, is that we are trying to make this an exciting event at every event, and Optima is certainly, this is the premium event of all year for anybody who is into this. So whether you've been as a participant or not, you should at least come and check this out. The level of racers is incredible, but you don't have to be a pro driver in a $500,000 custom car to have an incredible time at one of these Optima events. There's road course, there's autocross, there's our peak performance challenge. And if you really learn how it works, Deanie is one of my favorite elements because I get to talk about my car, but that's a whole other story. So
a great equalizer.
Love you guys. I hope to see you at some of these events really soon. Rob, I can't wait to meet you or to get together again. We've met many years ago, but thanks for what you do, brother. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. 2 Robs do make a right. I love it. We need a third. Jimmy, what's your middle name? Is it Robert?
It is not. I feel bad. I'm the only guy on the entire podcast not named Rob.
Yeah, well, you can work on that. All right. See you guys later.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, Rob. See you, Jimmy.
Bye.
Love you guys.